Welcome to UmmaNola Podcast in Dallas.
What's
Dallas.
up? Dallas.
How you doing?
Good. How
Jet
are you?
lag?
A little bit. A little bit. Catching up to me.
Yeah. We joined on because we're here together in person, but we actually have no idea what we're going to talk about. What are we going to talk about?
I don't know. What have you been creating?
Oh, yeah. So we have been sending out some PR boxes for our super band by Make It Skin. Cute.
This is what I
We
brought from
created
Korea.
some custom, high-quality medical scissors with our brand right on. There it is.
So cute, right? 너무 귀여워.
Yeah. So yeah, whoever this gets sent to, we hope that you will like it. And that's what we're about these days. Trying to learn the Amazon game.
Yup.
What else? How's Dallas been for you here?
It's good.
Yeah, the weather's been amazing.
Yeah.
Really, don't be fooled. Dallas is really playing you right now with the weather. So
It feels kind of summer, like right before summer hitting.
yeah, but you will know when actual summer hits you because you'll feel like you're in hell. Let's see what else. Yesterday we recorded a really fun podcast with our friends over at Honey Jam.
Yeah. That was fun.
That was so fun. I love talking to young people.
너는 왜 안 울었어?
나는 이미 I've already expended all of my tears on my life. I think they're just so cute.
They're so cute. 진짜 귀여워. Janice and Jess.
If you guys know, well, you probably know their podcast more than our podcast, to be honest. But if you don't, then follow them and listen because they're such great people and they're really, really fun. So
참 재밌어.
we had a fun podcast talking about friendships and all that stuff.
It's funny because I remember talking to you and I was like, before going on, I was like, I just don't want to be preachy, because as
You
older,
hella preach.
I always preach. That's my problem. But anyway, we did our best and try to ask questions as to how.
What can we do as old people to basically hang out with young people?
Yeah. And also, like, is there any advice that they would give to someone like us, like just kind of the role reversal?
We're reporting back. Basically,
Yeah, we're reporting
to
back.
all of you, quote, older people
Yeah.
our age.
And what did Jess say?
What did she say?
Wow. She said that it would be great if we lended out a hand and say, hey, are you guys available
Yeah.
to come over for lunch or for dinner if we want to build a relationship? And the reason because they automatically assume that we're a lot more like a lot busier than they would be because we have 3 kids versus her 1 kid, right? But I thought that was really good advice, actually.
I really do wonder if it's just if we're the anomaly where we always want to hang out. Like, it's not just hanging out. It's not like partying. It's just like, I love connecting with younger people because it's just like a breath of fresh air. And I love different like life stages that we're at and sharing about it and encouraging them. But also coming out of that feeling so refreshed for myself, like I love talking about anything besides just children.
Yeah.
Right. But I wonder if that's something that as moms in our 40s that a lot of like our listeners care about if you're like, I honestly don't care to talk to younger people.
So my petition to our listeners actually is that I don't really care if you care. I think if as Korean Americans, Asian Americans, I think if we can do it, as almost like a PSA.
Yeah.
Because
Reach
reach out and if there's somebody that is struggling or somebody that you have a vibe with, just to reach out to one. And at that pay it forward mentality happens and mentorship happens. And like we always say, if there were someone like you that was ahead of us, that was giving us advice and wisdom, how much better off could we have been and how much not lonely would we have been?
It's funny because I get these like word of mouth, friends of friends references for younger people to talk to me. And a lot of times there's a certain criteria. It's like namja problem. if they have issues with like dating, or if they're like struggling with sin, or if they have like some bad habits, they're like, like I've had this happen several times. Like people be like, I can't really relate to you, but like, can I refer you to my friend? And then
So
it'll be like
funny.
Jimin, and they'll be like, hey Jimin, can you talk to this person because she's struggling with like XYZ. I'm like, tawa, let's go.
And not only that, I think you have a way in which you show grace. You do understand them. For me, actually, it's like business.
Yeah, your
Career.
business. Yeah, but anytime I'm like, you should really talk to Jihye because you'll come back like you could get a Cliff Notes version of MBA. So if you guys need, I'm not making myself available to everybody, but
But I think that's
fun.
But that's what I'm saying. Like I
Yeah.
think that pay it forward mentality. And
how come like your specialty is like business, smarts, and I'm like, 남자 problem.
No, it's more on the emotion, I think, and mine's
yeah,
probably
yeah.
more on the
Yeah.
other side, right?
그치, emotion.
그게 밸런스.
Very good, very good. So, yeah, so that's what we did yesterday, and then, what else?
Oh, I finally got my birthday gift from a friend here. So, long story short, she's always like, "Oh, I'm always receiving from you, Jihye. Like, what is it that you want?" And I was like, "Honestly, for my birthday, I want your artwork." As you guys know, she's not only
Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that about me. What do you mean, as you guys know?
no, okay. You always said you're a designer, but she went to school for art.
Do you know what art school I went to?
Pratt.
어, 거기서 Parson 하면 이제 end of friendship. You know what I'm saying?
옛날엔 좀 했었어. 그렇게 착각을 좀 했었는데.
Yeah.
Parsons. Anyway, so I finally got it today. And I wanted to reveal it because I 와닿았어. I love it so much. Do you wanna, if you were docent?
Okay, so for my 3 listeners, this is gonna be long, but basically, I have always had. Can you drop it so we can see your face?
though
Too?
they
I feel
need
very
to-
lonely in this stage.
Okay, but they need to
Just
see
come
it.
like right next to it, like 붙여.
알았어.
Okay, so about like 2 of you here probably know this, but I was a painting major. And I've always made art that relates to boundaries and balance and relationships, and they often look like animated cells. So I also have an obsession with cells. And so if you guys know Yayoi Kusama or Louise Bourgeois or Eva Hess, those are like my 3 favorite artists. And so I've always kind of had this certain mark and like visual language in my head. And I used to paint a lot, but then, life kind of took over. And then I also learned how to design, which has been an amazing journey. But I always consider myself as a painter before a designer. But knowing this, Jihye asked for an artwork, and it takes a lot of like kind of humility to put myself out there with this because I don't know, it's one of those things that you've always like had in your own. It's like you have like this little drawer of like secrets, and this not a bad secret, but like this is a really special part of me. So I thought, okay, let's just do it and paint her something, and it was actually fun. So I'll keep painting more.
I love it so much.
But I used to make like huge, because it's funny because Chia was like, hey, remember in Singles Inferno how Chunso was like, I make these like 7 feet paintings, and then that girl like Minser was like, how big is 7? Is it this big?
Table size.
Yeah, but I was like, I used to make 8 feet paintings. Let's just start baby steps right now. Yeah. But yeah. Just to explain the artwork, it's about like a little bit of pushing and pulling and the relationships and the micro relationships that happen in trying to live life and attain balance. And that's all that I could say.
Yeah.
But for, if you're new to art, you might be like, whatever, what is that? But for me, art is always like whatever it speaks to you, that's the right interpretation. But you could always learn from like hearing the artist's statement and point of view
Right.
to see if there's any more touch points. But yeah,
Yeah.
it
So
doesn't look as bright here. But
no, it looks perfect.
yeah.
But yeah, thank you, 친구. I love it. I love it so much.
Okay, 치워놔.
알았어. 왜 계속 치우라 그래? But yeah. So I did ask for it maybe about almost a year ago because my birthday's coming up. And I finally got it.
You could stare at it as you recover from your liver transplant surgery.
Sounds good. Yeah, you've been getting targeted.
I know. So Jihye is getting her liver transplant, or she's giving her, 70% of her liver to her mom. And so somehow I'm getting nonstop targeted on like liver detox drinks and like supplements that I need to be taking. I almost bought them, but I realized the one that keeps pushing ads on me, it has to be refrigerated. So 상하면 또 안 되지.
안 되지. 안 되지.
How are you feeling about that, by the way? You
Oh yeah,
does
no.
it feel like a real thing?
Yeah, no, I was just telling you, recently, like, I have the first startup is called Giblib, and at UCSF, we actually filmed a living donor transplant surgery. And
Does the surgery look like?
I'll show you.
But like we just finished trauma code.
Yeah.
And
It's worse.
But I was watching the surgery. I was like, John and I were like, this surgery looks so realistic.
I know.
But then I'm sure in real life it's a lot more chichibune looking, right?
No, but no. But it's such
Looks
high
real.
quality.
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
show
yeah.
you later
Yeah.
if you're not too squeamish.
I love watching surgeries.
Okay, 그럼
actually.
이따 보여줄게.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty cool. But the one that I watched was the recipient side, which would be my mom. And it kind of was weird to watch that part because I was like, I'm okay thinking about myself being open for now.
Because you think about your mom.
But when I'm thinking about my mom being open like that on a table,
yeah.
then it was like kind of mind effing me a little bit.
Yeah.
So then I got a little bit worried and sad for her. But I don't know when it'll come to me. But regardless,
it won't, but you need to ask like, 혹시 can you record me passed out on the bed? And then like after a month when I'm ready to process, I will look at it and like, Oh, yeah.
So Jimin has been making me these juices.
Delicious.
I have
so
a hard time.
I've always wanted to have a juicer, but I just like hate the idea of cleaning it and whatever. But then for my birthday, I was like, John, can you give me a juicer? So he got me a really nice juicer.
And the only nice juicers is
from Korea.
Of course.
Yeah.
Puram.
So then I've been making ABC juices, apple, beet, and carrot juices, and it's like delicious. But then Jihye is has like a child taste palate. So she'll drink it and she'll be like, it's good. Really unappreciative of the hard work.
No. I appreciate it. It's just that the body doesn't know how to enjoy it.
Yeah. Speaking of like surgeries and looking at gory, squeamish things, I don't know if you guys know, but they kind of mentioned this in Honey Jam. Yeah, I heard that you used to show like your younger church friends with no kids videos of you giving birth.
Yes.
Like, was your like vajay all out and open? Like, is that what you mean?
Yeah.
That's
No, so I would ask, hey, are you guys interested in
like first of all, who took that video?
David?
Uh-huh.
And I have it for all 3 kids. But at that time I only had Abby.
Yeah.
So it was
Like this is like the miracle of the birth, but then you're actually watching.
Do you want to see it?
With Jihye? I don't want with Jihye like showing her like cookers.
Yeah. So
it's like you would never.
It's the beautiful.
Actually, you
miracle of
would.
life.
I was gonna say like you would not just like show your like cuckoo to your friend circle, but you also like would walk around naked if you felt free to do it.
Of course. But okay, so I think what had happened, if I remember correctly, is maybe I'm getting a little groups confused. But one group that ended up seeing my birthing video, we were like scrolling through my phone to find another video, and then somehow that came up. And then
That's really traumatizing.
I know, and I was like, "Oh, do you guys want to watch it?" And they're just like, I do, but I don't. But I was like,
Like, is it blurred out? Is it behind the scenes?
no,
it's like frontal.
frontal. And I think everybody.
That's next level, girl.
But I
That's,
really love it when people have information as to what they're going to get themselves into. Especially if you did not watch Miracle of Birth, right? Like the Miracle of Life.
Dang.
So I was like, if you guys want to, and no force, like I'm not about to sexually harass anybody.
Yeah.
But they were like, I actually do. So I was like, okay, that's fine. Just
Well,
go.
and they were like all younger girls.
Yeah, yeah. And
What was their reaction? Are you like, like,
no, I'm a very calm, collected.
okay?
And I'll show you. Don't worry.
아, 진짜 보기 싫은데. I'm kind of the same. Like, I kind of want to see, but I kind of don't want to see.
다 그런데 다 은근히 좋아해. But I mean,
But also, I just know it's like very a frightening scene down there.
it's very frightening. Do you not have any for yourself?
No, because I told John. So I remember.
Stay above.
Well, not necessarily, but so I remember before giving birth to my first Jackson, our friends were like, the guys were telling John, like, hey, John, just warning is like, when you're in there, when it's like really push time, baby's about to come out, I would try not to look because it could be traumatizing. And they were kind of saying like, it could kind of like affect you guys' like sex life in the future, whatever. 그렇게 막 약간 트라우마된 거 보면 might not be like appeasing. But then I was like, I need you to see what is happening to understand the pain and suffering
맞아.
that I am going through.
맞아.
So 다 봐, right? I will recover. Don't you worry. But I was like, I need you to see it. But I didn't really have any desire to film it
I see.
necessarily.
Yeah.
But I did, because for me, I use a mirror. You know about the mirror? Like, so
No.
I remember like someone was like, oh, I use a mirror when I was pushing and that helped a lot. So I was like, oh, okay. I kind of like remember a mental note.
I think I do remember.
And then so when I was pushing, I couldn't tell because I did not follow the nurse's instruction and I like overloaded myself with epidural because I didn't want to feel nothing. And that was great because I didn't feel anything. But then I also didn't know if I was pushing. I was like, I can't feel anything. Am I pushing? And then she's like, the nurse, she was like this like big white lady, like so like, just like looked powerful. And she was like, oh girl, you're pushing. I could see his head. And I was like, you could see his head? And she's like, yeah, girl, you want to see a mirror? I was like, and then like, 그게 딱, my friend's like, mirror 있으면 you get like more motivated. So I was like, oh, I want to see a mirror. And I thought it was going to be a little like 손거울, like a little like handheld where like John could hold it for me. No, this came in like rolling barrier with like 4 wheels. And it was like 7 feet tall. I was like, that's a really big mirror. She goes, you want to be a superman woman? You want to get a mirror? We got you a mirror. And this thing was like front. And then even John was like, wait, but I thought you told me like, 봐도 되지만 like kind of, it could be. But then I started seeing it and I was like, I could see like Jackson's head like peeping out. And I was like, John, you got to see this. So that he also started seeing it. But then you took it to the next level and recorded it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to document the pain and suffering so that.
So have your girls watched it?
No, not yet.
Oh, that would be next level.
No, but I definitely will show them.
That would be next level, like birth control.
Yeah.
Motivating.
I mean, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
But,
Dang.
yeah. 그냥 그렇다고.
And then I remember I was like, John, I don't remember pushing out the placenta. Do you think they forgot? And John's like, oh, I saw that thing. He's like, I saw it loud and clear what that looked like. I was like, oh, good. I'm glad you checked for me. But birthing story.
I mean, we should definitely have a full episode of the birthing story of all 3 kids because I think, at least for me, every one of them was different. At a certain
How
point.
so?
At a certain point, because it was like a teaching hospital, they're like, this is a very interesting case. 그런 situation도 있었고. It's just like my stories are pretty crazy, but
I just know like 2 out of the 3 kids. So all of them I had epidural. And I remember my sister was like, because she had her baby right like a year before I had Jackson. And then she was like, Jimin, 거기 병원 가면 there's going to be a moment where you're going to think, maybe I could do it without epidural. There's going to be a moment. She's like, take that thought and throw it out in the trash. She's like, 갖다 버려. 왜냐면 like you don't need to be a hero. You already are going to be facing a lot. Don't be a hero. So I remember thinking that. But for me, every 2 out of 3 kids for some reason there was an older Korean nurse in there. And for some reason these older Korean nurses love to lecture me because they saw me like, did you get this? The where you like, the epidural to like, what is it called?
A push button.
Yeah, push button for the epidural. I was just like in a panic. I was like, right? And then the first one, she was like, oh, 그거, if you do it too many times, it's not good for pushing. So stop doing that. I was like, ne. And then I like looked at John and I was like, I was like, ne. Like this, right? I didn't care. And then the second one, I kept pushing. And then like, I felt like I could start feeling the pain, But by then, like it was also when my contractions were like starting to ramp up. So I was like kind of in a panic. And then I was like, is it that the contractions are coming stronger or is it that I'm actually, because I was like, I don't want to feel any pain. And I was like, and then the Korean nurse, different hospital, different state, Korean nurse. I was like, oh, excuse me, I've been pressing this, but it's like not working. She was like, it's not good to do too much. It's working. Like it's working. And I was like, oh, okay. And it was like 1 a.m. So it's like John is sleeping, And then I'm like, oh, but it's not working. And so she was like doing something. And then all of a sudden, within like 5 minutes of her like doing something in there, like cleaning up, my contractions like ramped up where I was like bawling and I could feel every single thing. So then John woke up to me like, like this. And John's like, what happened? And I was like, I could feel everything, but she keeps saying it's working. So then they got the anesthesia and they were like, oh, we're so sorry. You were right. It wasn't working. And they're like, we're going to check you right now. And then I was so afraid that they were going to be like, oh, it's go time. You're going to have to push with like full pain because it hurts so much. And so I like 조금 extra dramatized my crying. I was like, and then they checked and you were like, okay, you're at 9.5, but we're gonna make sure the epidural works before we ask you to push. I was like, thank you. That was my story. Did you poop?
Yeah.
I didn't poop. I don't think so. I don't. You're not embarrassed that you pooped?
No, it's a miracle of life. I mean,
Nanda, I feel like I still have something like some kind of dignity that I'm trying to protect from John, especially.
Yeah.
Something,
Actually, I should rewatch my own videos because I don't know like how big the poop is. I remember David saying it was like pellets, little pellets.
Did you? How soon did you start farting in front of David?
Oh, right away.
Yeah, I was like, hey John, I just want to let you know I have like a gas problem. So 나는 if I hold my farts, then I have a very bad stomach ache. So I don't think you want me to have a stomach ache. He's like, oh, yeah, I have a sister. Do whatever. I was like, oh, good, because let it rip. Anyways, that's fun. Also, we have, change of topic is that we have a half marathon coming up in Napa. 정말.
That we have not trained for.
At all.
Because Korea is too cold to train.
It's been very cold here. This is the only week that it's been in like so nice.
And we have not run out.
No.
Nope.
Like for my birthday when I was dancing, I was like kind of out of breath. I was like, how am I going to run a half marathon?
It's mental. Tom.
Anyway, so we have a half marathon. We're going to do our Bay Area UmmaNola hangout. So
Super
that should
excited.
be fun. And then, we're going to do the half. So there's this kind of, I wouldn't call it a phenomenon, but I do think that as we age, like I know other groups of people in our age that are starting to pick up running. Like Christina has her friends coming.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, yeah.
We know some people from LA that are coming for the Napa, right? And I don't know, maybe it's like this thing that we're
like a UmmaNola run crew.
No, I just think it's something that I never thought I would see myself running any race because I have zero interest in running. Like I just find running to be so boring and I'm not a good runner. But now it's kind of like it's easy to do in terms of like you don't need special equipment. You just go. You could do it anywhere as long as it's not like super cold. And it feels like I think also the organized signing up to like a running event and then meeting there with like, because a lot of our friends were like, it's like long distance friendship now, right? It's like, so 거기 가서 and then run and then you kind of like enjoy a couple days of like that vacation. That's been real nice. So where's
Excited?
next? Where's next? I'm not even gonna ask actually.
유럽 가야지.
Europe?
Yeah.
Where Europe has a run?
되게 많아.
They do?
근데 다음 거는 너는 이제 full
I
가야지.
can't do a full. She keeps trying to tell me to do a full, but I'm like,
멘탈이야.
all of you guys, it's not mental. All of you guys physical is your body's broke.
No.
Yeah.
너 지금 말짱.
Your chiropractor told you that your legs have like a height difference now because of your run. So don't you dare. And your knees buckle.
I know, but it's all manageable. I just want to do one with you in Europe.
Can we just do 2 halves and count that as a full?
No. Anyway, I mean,
We'll see, you know.
Yeah.
The way that I am is I realize as much as I give off this energy of like I'm so down, I'm actually not down at all. I'm not down to it. I'm such a scaredy cat. My default is like, no, I'm okay. And Jihye's like, her default is she's already booked a flight out.
맞아.
But
우리가-
balance. Because if I was also a go, then like 둘이 이제 큰일 나는 거지.
왜?
그냥 놀러 다니고 no 일, no nothing.
No, 우리 일은 아니야. 그거는 아니고.
그건 아니야?
그거는 아니야. 나 일하는 거 되게 좋아해.
Then what's my add value in this friendship if I'm like gonna always say no? Because I feel like it's cool to be like you, where it's like go sing, and I'm like I don't know, I can think about it. So then,
No,
what's the added? What's a pro of being friends with me? I don't know what I'm asking.
No, I think you know the answer to this. It's that I go too fast. You may go too slow. So because we kind of
Me in the middle.
meet in the middle, so I don't make as many mistakes, and you grow some balls.
But somehow in my life, I've made way more mistakes than you
I
have.
know. 그러니까 되게 뭐가
Maybe I've become like this because I've made so many mistakes in my life.
No, I don't think that's the
No?
case. No, 그건 아닌 것 같아.
Are you excited to turn 42?
Yeah, I mean, I know you feel a little bit different, right?
What? About turning 42?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I feel like turning 40 was the biggest kind of like turning a page. What do you call it?
맞아.
But new chapter. But then once I went into my 40s, I was like, oh, this is actually great. I love it. So for me, like 41, 42, like it all feels kind of the same. I'm just getting more seasoned. I hope that I feel like that when I turn 45. Because even John told me like when he turned 45, he was like, oh, dang. Like he kind of had this moment of like, wow, 45. So if he felt like that, imagine me. Because after 45, it's like 50. And then you're 80.
I mean, unless I'm dying, I think still it's mental. So I'm telling you, I 은근히 텀 말이 조금
Yeah, do you guys know
와닿아.
that? It's from that
돌싱.
Love and Divorce 돌싱 where Tommy was like, 멘탈이야, 다
And
멘탈이야.
everybody made fun of him, but
Yeah.
no, he's onto something for real.
So
No.
we'll see.
No, but I, you know, when we were talking last and you actually just turned 42. Oh, can we talk about the surprise that I didn't think I was going to be able to do?
Oh my gosh, yes. So Jihye is a surprise and delight person.
Love it.
You kind of like, it's like you're a drug.
I'm a drug?
No, like
It's a drug for me.
that's a drug for you.
Oh.
Like imagine if you were no longer able to surprise and delight.
No, I feel like that's where I'm at right now.
어떻게 더 surprise 할수
못하니까 내가 진짜 이번에도 못할 것 같았어.
Oh, because it's like far away.
No, I just could not figure out how I was going to do it.
So Jihye was planning on coming. So my birthday was on February 21st.
Friday.
And I was coming back from New York with my trip with John on that Friday. Like 5 p.m., got home by 6:30 p.m. type of thing. So then Jihye was going to fly in the next day on the 22nd on a Saturday because we were going to do like a girls' night out birthday party. So that was the plan.
In Dallas.
And then So then I come home and I'm like, we're like eating dinner that we picked up with the kids. And then I'm like, I'm telling John, I'm like, oh, John, she is like running late to her flight. She has to like book it. I hope she makes it. And I'm like texting Jay, I'm like, yeah, if you don't come, I'm canceling this birthday party. You better like hurry up. So I'm trying to not bother her because normally I would like call her, be like, oh yeah, like, are you on your flight? But I just try to like get, because every time she responds, that's another minute delayed, right? And then she's like, yo, I'm so late, blah, blah, blah. And I gotta book it. Okay, go. Just let me know when you're boarded. Like, give me a call before you take off. And then finally, you like tried to call, and I was like trying to pick up, but something was like, or I tried to call.
No, it was like, 안 되는 거야.
안 되는 거야. Was that like was that a gimmick? Was it really not working?
It was really not working.
Oh, really? Okay. So I was like, oh, I know, because sometimes when you've boarded on your flight, like the internet kind of gets like a little bit weak.
맞아.
So I was like, she must be on her flight. And then finally it connected to video call on Kakao. And I'm so slow. I'm like, I look at it and I was like, why is there a video of like the outside of my house?
맞아.
And I don't know what you said. I was like, oh, 와줘서 고마워. I was like, thank you for coming.
Oh, 맞아.
And then you're like, why don't you come outside and say it in real life? And I like didn't understand it.
Yeah, and I had the video camera.
Because I just thought, I was like, yeah, I'll pick you up tomorrow and I'll say it in real life.
Yeah. But then.
And I saw the video of like the front of my house and I was so confused. I was like, I think she is outside. And John's like, huh? We're like eating 설렁탕. We're like, huh? And then it clicked. I was like, oh, because when it clicked, obviously it took too long to click, but when it clicked, I was like, you're more than capable of doing this. So that's why it was.
The whole time, okay, so that's her side of the story, but the whole time I was like, there's no way I'm going to pull it off. It was $400 cheaper for the flight on Friday versus the Saturday one. So I was like, oh, this is going to be a win-win. And I came and then I was like, she's going along because I surprised her so many times. There's no way she would know. No way. Usually she's like calling me right away. But she's like, oh, you know what? I thought you were playing
I didn't want
to
delay you and then have you miss your flight.
Yeah. And then, so that's why I was like, oh, should I not do it? And then I also ordered like Baskin Robbins, because I was going to be, my big grand plan was that I was going to be DoorDash with the thing. So I was going to send her, hey, I sent you some DoorDash thing. But then right when I was about to send that text, she sent a text over saying, I got your ice cream. And I was like, dang it, right? So anyway, I get over and then she was very, very surprised. So,
yeah, shocked.
Yeah, but I don't know how much more I have in me anymore because I feel like it's not.
No, now I will expect a surprise every time.
No,
yeah. What's next?
없어. I got nothing. I got nothing. And it's hard because trying to plan surprises on your own is very, very difficult.
Yeah.
And I've tried some people around you.
Coordination.
But the people around you are very helpful.
Yeah, we're not surprisers.
Yeah.
That's why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I have to take it upon myself to just figure stuff out. And
You'll
just
figure it out.
Take a stab. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't kind of, situation. But yeah, it was fun. It's fun.
고마워.
그래.
Yeah, it's 참 인생이 재밌어.
그렇지, 재밌지. 이런 재미로 사는 거지.
Yeah, so
anyway.
Oh,
I did want to talk about your birthday party and all the people that I met, and I really felt that you were loved. You are loved,
very
and
loved.
you were loved. And the other thing is what an impact UmmaNola has. On like how you've met all these people from different walks of life, and it's crazy. You had like people from church all the way to people that you met through UmmaNola, all the way to an influencer. Like it was just 다양해, and everybody was celebrating you, and I just really appreciated all of them. 너무
yeah, it was a
좋더라.
good group of people.
Yeah. So you are in good hands. That's what I genuinely felt. And yeah, so I was joking on text message when the group chat, she was like, sent the text message to everybody that came. It was like, thank you for coming and all that stuff. And I was like, do I need to move to Dallas? Because
And
of
I
all
looked
y'all.
at her, I was like, you're such a liar. Go ahead. Go ahead. Try to move in here. See.
Yeah, no. It was a little bit of a lip service, but no, I genuinely did feel the love,
Yeah.
the genuine type of love that was very different in Taeyang, and the individuality of each person was just so beautiful to see.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think like you've moved around too, like I've moved around my whole life. And I think that moving, there's always going to be a sense of loneliness you feel because you're like aware that you're a new person. And it's like, especially when there's, you go to a place where people have known each other for like 20 plus years. It's like, where is my space in this new environment when there's 20 plus years of friendship and bond and history? Like, where do I enter, So, like, I'll say there's still a feeling of loneliness. And, like one of my friends was texting me. She's like, I know moving to Dallas has been a little bit, something like down about it a little bit, but I'm grateful you're here. I was like, no, I'm not down about it. Like I'm not down about it, but I'm also realist. I'm not also not going to be like, I don't want to be lying and say that everything's like sunshine and rainbows. I'm still trying to figure out my place in this new state. And I mean, very frankly speaking, I just love water and mountains. And there's none of that. So I have to accept that. But with people, like anywhere I've moved, it's really like how much time and effort am I going to invest in these friendships and invest in meeting all different types of people. And yeah, I felt very loved. Not only that, I think there's like, different cups in my heart, right? And like, John took me on this like really nice New York trip when we may not be in the best time right now with our kind of personal finances, businesses. Like we're both business owners, and so, but it was just like kind of nice to go without kids. So I felt like very love on that department. And then you come, I'm like, wow, 친구 짱, And then I came and had like such a lovely night with all these Dallas people. So very grateful. But there's always gonna be the sense of loneliness because I am new here. Like I've only moved here 7 months ago, But I'm getting there, and I definitely felt like super loved, very blessed to have met these people, and it was a fun time.
It was a really good time. I was really glad to have met all of the people that you spoke so highly of too, and so it was really fun. It was really good.
Yeah. What are you gonna do for your birthday? Are you gonna be like in bed?
I might be. I'm really trying to 앞당겨.
Because their surgery is like 2 days before
my
right?
birthday.
Yeah.
맞아, May 26th. So we shall see how the connections in Korea can pull through. Everybody's like, I can contact that one Jang for you.
Yeah, because you're trying to move the date. Yeah.
I was like,
VVIP, VVVVIP.
and I'm like, 제발
Yeah.
부탁드립니다. Always 부탁드립니다. No, but like whatever happens, I'm fine. But it would be most ideal. And everybody's like, oh, is it because your mom's not doing very well? And it's like, no, because I have a business to run.
Yeah, I want to play
And
sooner.
I want to play in, the thing. I mean, there's an element where all the, kids events happen right before break too. And I'm going to have to miss all of that. So that also kind of gets me a little sad. And so yeah, like I think that would be the reasons why, but it's okay. Whatever happens, I'm okay. But fight for what I can.
I have a question. What a lot of people randomly ask me is like, how does Jihye like travel so much and do all these things with 3 kids and all of that?
It's honestly prioritization. I really think it all boils down to it. If you prioritize, travel and seeing friends or business or whatever that looks like, and then second, I think it's also having a partner, which is David, that understands that is who I am. So it's not that you have to travel and do all these things, because if that's not in your DNA, it may just be like, oh, I wish I could do that. But honestly, even if you were gonna do it, you might be way more like thinking about your kids and all that stuff. So it's just the way that I'm wired, that David understands. And then I think I always say this, but like the little things, David just lets me do whatever I want to do. But with the big moves or like I'm always like on board with whatever he wants to do, right? So I think there's a check and balance. So I think that's kind of our dynamic. And so when it comes to travel, I do think there's just that understanding, and that really helps. And then of course the kids too. I tell them this is what I'm doing, and just keep them in the loop. And a lot of times I go out just to clear my brain, clear my head, and then come back. And I always say, it's whatever you prioritize as what is necessary for you. And this was one of them. And I told David from the early on, like going to Korea, I'm going to at least need to go to the States quarterly. Just to, I know it sounds really ridiculous and so like bougie a little bit, but I was like, I'd rather
You've saved a lot of points as well.
points. And then I don't really spend much, but when I do spend, I go all out, So that's kind of how I'm wired. And I'm just grateful that I have a family that can support that and understand it and celebrate that for me. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I always add, and this is, I mean, it's just funny because I think you're the anomaly. I'm probably the more average in this of, I would love to travel and do all that too, but like, I got like responsibilities, right? Not to say you don't have responsibilities, but it is something that I'm like, I don't have as much freedom to just like pick up and go, But I think that when different people ask me like, oh, how does she do all of that? There is a little bit of like, who's watching the kids type of thing, or who's, or it could be, again, no one has said this, but it could be like, oh, some people could look at this as like, oh, 남편이 좀 불쌍하네. Like, but my thing always is like, I watch you guys' marriage, and there's such a beautiful like partnership that you guys have created, and there are so many ways that you have fully supported and really even pushed David to strive for things he would have not gone for. And I don't think the average woman could have withstood or seen that potential and like really like push or encourage their husband to do that. So I feel like there's just like something there that I also see in the other everyday, that you have been there for David and the kids in a little bit of an untraditional way. So sometimes I kind of just like want to say that. Yeah, because it looks like you're just like 놀고 다녀, and you are, but there's also these things you have done in you guys' marriage, in your life, where I don't know, it's hard to describe. It's just, it's not average things.
No, I mean, I'll add a couple more things for those. I mean, those are specific questions about who watches the kids. And I've been fortunate enough to have a person that helps out like on a part-time basis. So that's also very helpful. I think the other thing, to your point, even people in Korea, what they say is 미국에서는 애들 키우는 게 너무 힘들게 키운다. And what they mean by that is, in Korea, it's all the teachers can come to your house. There's buses for every extracurricular activity.
Yeah, you're not like chauffeuring kids.
No chauffeuring, unless you're trying to go to a different school or whatnot. So in that sense, it's really easy to rear a child in Korea.
But you've really been like this even in the States. Like, you've only been in Korea for a year and a half.
Yeah, but those are really short trips that I would go on, not these long-term ones, right? I see. Because then I know David can handle 1 or 2 days, but then I'm like, sometimes I just do morning to night. Come back. Yeah. It's never extended. So like 지킬 것은 지켜. And but I think Korea is a special case where I'm doing a lot more than what I used to. And David always prioritized my work, So when I was doing the other startup, when Brian, my other partner, was like, "Hey, I need you here," there's no question asked. I was already there.
Yeah.
And somehow or another, I would always, if I had to fly in my mom, I would do that. My mom was always flexible enough to be able to help out in that way, even if she was living in Korea. So our family is kind of like crazy to begin with. and I'm a product of that. But and I will say, like, one of the things that I'm not a very like family oriented person to begin with as well. You know, my mother-in-law, like David, did a good job, and then he got a little bit of a boost, and
With his work, yeah.
with his work, and I remember David calling me and saying, you know, it's because of you, and I was like, what did I do? You know, like 너무 고맙지.
Yeah.
And then I got a text from my mother-in-law. And
That's
it was like,
Jin.
yeah,
That's
and
for real.
I'm really not that present, to be honest, with her, and I should do more. I know, but you know what she texted was, you know, David, good job, you know. But then she was like, but I want to say thank you so much for Jihye because she always encourages you, drives you in a positive way, and really believes in you to be the best version of yourself. And I'm a very encouraging person,
Yeah.
and I provide a lot of feedback. But I'm very present when it comes to the politics of the business. Or hey, did you ever think about that? Hey, MBA, if you want to get ahead, I think you should do it. Just take the GMAT. Just apply. Just talk to this person, and then you can choose. That's always the
You
way
know,
that I do
it's like, I think that when we think about our wives' duty or, you know, what we could contribute, right? I mean, it could be kind of sad, but I'm like, I cook really well, you know, but, you know, I think what I love and it's so inspiring about Chia is like, you don't cook jack.
And I told my mother-in-law from the get-go, 저는
Yeah.
요리는 안 하고 음식 만지는 것도 싫어해요.
Yeah. But, you know, it's more than identifying just that. It's from the early on, I think, identifying what we are really good at and kind of double downing on that. In the things that are not good at, being honest and asking for help. Like, you're not trying to, like, make bad food. You'll be like, you know what? I can't cook, but I've pre-ordered, like, pedal all these meals that was like economically it's like it's all good, so it's all in the fridge, we just have to reheat. You have a system going on, you know.
맞아.
So I think that's something to learn from. And again, I think that I cannot live your lifestyle, nor do I want that necessarily, but I think what I gain from is learning how to kind of communicate more on or identifying what we are good at, what we aren't good at, and asking for help in areas we're not good at, but also like doubling down on areas we are good at, and you know, just kind of those things. So I feel like that's like a
Podcast episode in itself.
in itself. Yeah,
No,
totally.
I agree. You know, I think for David, it's like I'm his biggest fan, to be honest. When he works, I always joke to Jimin. I was like, 일할 때 제일 멋있어.
Yeah, because like a lot of wives are like, oh, my husband keep working, work so much. You're like, 가서 일해.
진짜 멋있어.
Yeah.
그래서 yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, you guys are just wired differently,
Very
but it's
differently.
good, you know. And anyways, wish us luck on our half marathon. And oh yeah, the other thing, I know the time's a little over, but Jihye was trying to like run it individually, and we mentioned last time we're gonna try to run together. So we shall see if she keeps her word.
I'm a woman of my word. I know I kind of went back and forth for a while, but I will do it.
I think I need the extra help because I feel like I'm really gonna be struggling. You've at least ran a marathon. I've never run past 8.
No, but trust me when I say, even after running a marathon and you know, just recuperating, I couldn't even run a couple miles at a certain point. I was like, what is going
It
on?
resets you back.
So it doesn't matter. So for those that have never ran a marathon, trust me, you're at the same place as those that actually ran it.
I just don't want to come out with a broken body. You know?
No, it should be good. I think just running a race together is gonna be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good. Look at how like 사각 my shoulder is.
Look at how round mine is.
Like I look like I'm a box.
I just look like I have no shoulders. So who wins me with the? 너는 actually 옷이 잘 이렇게 맞아 떨어져. 아주 이뻐. And you know it. So don't
The
you
thing
dare.
that like we do, so if we're going shopping, Jihye has this like toxic trait where she'll believe that she'll look amazing in something. She's like that, and I'm like, I'm gonna have a. And she'll try it, and she'll be like quickly disappointed by the fit. Because I could tell like what's gonna look good or not, but she is newer in the shopping area. And then she'll like put it back in the hanger, and then she'll be like, "You try it." I'm like, don't do that to me. Don't do it.
Everything looks good on her.
She's like, try. I'm like, no, like, cause I already know
it's gonna look good on
it's
you.
so 재수없어 to hear. I know. Because like my body, but then you'll make me try something else, and I'll be like, no. So there's certain style. I just.
But
know.
you know, I actually had a really good time because we went shopping like a couple of times. One to get a top for her, and 은근히 나 눈이 있어.
You're actually an amazing person to go shopping with because you're like a guy where there's no emotions mixed into the critique.
맞아.
Like, you know how we were at a shoe store earlier, and
Yeah.
those two girls, they were like, "Oh my gosh, Keely, this looks so good on you. You were born to wear these shoes, Keely. Are we gonna be twinning? Are we gonna be twinning?" And she was like, "Right, does this look good? It's yours, right?" But then but those people like mommy though, you can't trust them. You know what I mean? Because they're kind of there could be she did look good in them, but also
really
those shoes are so expensive. Like anybody will look good in them.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh.
But Jiye는, she's one of those where if it doesn't look good, she'll just tell you straight up like, it doesn't look good. Like, it looks not good. And she can't describe what it is about it, but it's like, guys, and I'm like, oh, put it away, you know? So it's like, 약간, in that sense, it's nice because you get like that more honest feedback, but it's just, you just can't apply, you just for some reason don't apply that same objective view on yourself because you have a very high confidence about yourself.
That is so
So
true.
you think you actually will like pull off something that I can't even pull off.
맞아.
And I'll be like, Jihye, did you actually think? She's like, I really believe I could look good in it. I'm like, but Jihye, like, 이거는 진짜 아니야. Like, look at the pattern, look at the fit. You're like, 아쉽네. I'm like, 뭐가 아쉬워? Why was there even any expectation?
몰라.
So that was funny.
Yeah, that was fun though.
Yeah. So
재밌었어.
if you need somebody to go shopping with you, Jihye would go. Actually, she hates shopping.
No, I
so
really
don't. Take her. Yeah.
I really don't like shopping.
Yeah. So, anyways, thanks for listening today. And
Did you guys see our upgrade?
yeah, this is actually quite heavy. I need a mic stand. 약간 손목이 아파.
Oh my, 왜 이렇게 약해 빠져가지고.
But yeah, we got some equipment upgrade. Thank you, Sure, for sponsoring this podcast. Just kidding, we didn't get any sponsorship. It's our own money. Anyways, I hope the sound quality is better.
Yeah.
We're still working on the hoogie background of the office
Hey,
here.
own it, girl.
But it is what it is, you know? Anyways, thanks for listening in. And next time we will be not in Dallas. We will be back to long distance. So, right?
맞아.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, everyone.